I have a question for you today.
Sure.
Um, why do little children, below the age of 13 to 18, love food?
You don't love food. How old are you? 20?
No. That is a classified information.
You said from which age?
From 13 to 19. Probably, basically teenagers.
The reason why I think they love food is because it's a stage of developing. So the body tends to consume more for maturity, for the physical maturity, not the mental. Mental, you can even start being mature at 9. Yeah, depending with the environment where you were raised and views, values, morals. Yeah.
So guys, you're not lost. This is Let's Square It, where we talk about literally everything. That is politics. We talk about lifestyle.
But mostly we talk about social issues.
Yeah.
Politics once in a while.
Once in a while, but it is basically
Because everyone is talking about politics and it's too popular to a point that we have common views. So for you to go and say, okay, I want to watch this channel because they kind of have a different perspective, it's not that easy. So politics once in a while, social issues more often.
So this is their place where we talk about
everything. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, my name is Austin, by the way.
My name is Tina.
And join us today in this conversation. I think this is...
It's a sensitive
conversation.
Yeah.
And we should need to talk about it.
Many people are not talking about it because it's something made common or something made we're used to, yeah. Or it is right according to how community sees it. I'd like to highlight an issue like male chauvinism. I don't know how to call it, male chauvinism or chauvinism, whichever. You can comment down there. Let me know how you think it's pronounced. But that one, it creates such a big issue in the community, such that inazalisha the other issues. Yeah, because I think men already have an excuse of doing wrong things in the society.
Because the society, the society like dictates what men are supposed to do. And when you look at it keenly, it's like, as a man, the things that you have a right to do, even if they're wrong. And that is what we're talking about today. I think this is what we want to have that conversation about. And the conversation today is all about gender-based violence. And I think this is something that maybe we have experienced it at some point in our lives. It might not be that serious when you experienced it, but then we have experienced it once in our lifetime.
I think the reason why it's not so serious is because we are not exposed to such conversations at a tender age. And I think it's high time that we have these conversations with our young ones.
It starts from, you as a parent, it starts from you. So if you do not have these conversations with your children, it will be like, it's just normal.
It's normal, yeah. So introduce the topic to us. What is it about?
Since we're talking about gender-based violence, there's so many things about gender-based violence, and people will only think that it's all about the physical abuse.
Yeah, and it's going to be a series for this one as well, because it has a lot of it in one, and when we cover all of it at once, we feel like we will leave some details, and editing is hectic, and also we leave out some details. It's like diluting the whole juice.
So it's like, you see, the way you are usually taught in class, back in high school, they usually say that you leave the audience in suspense.
Yeah.
So we can't tell you everything right now because you get bored in watching it. By the time
you're finishing, you're like, okay, I know they're going to say you can go to the police station.
Yeah, so I'll be handling, we have two categories here.
How do you know that you're undergoing gender-based violence, first of all? How do you know?
When you just realize that something isn't normal. I mean, when someone starts using some abusive words, when someone starts beating you up for no reason, because maybe you're a boy or you're a girl, maybe you're a lady or a guy, a man, I mean. So you kind of feel like it's not fair. That is when now you know that this is happening. And there's so many other things that I think you will be handling and also be handling them.
I think for me, how you would know when it is gender-based violence is when your mind contradicts it. You know, when someone does something to you,
Yeah.
even if it's just stepping on your toes, automatically your mind is like, she stepped on me and it's very wrong. Your mind just clicks with it.
So it's okay. Basically, you're trying to say that it can also be something that is emotional.
Not
Like-
emotional, but
But-
I think we are created in a way that we know what is right and wrong. We all have a conscience. And when someone does something, for example, I'm sorry to say, but when I see someone dressed in an indecent manner, I tend to feel ashamed for that person. The minute I see that person, I'm like, oh my God, amevaa nini? I just feel like I'm too sensitive to that. Why is it that way? Because we all have a conscience. We have a way to judge things. This is right, this is wrong. We don't have to go to books and read. Okay, I saw that and it's wrong. No, you just
It's something
see
you
it and your mind just clicks. It's wrong. Yeah.
Well, that is a good explanation, I can say. So, as we talk about this, I think by the end of this, I want someone at least to have learned something new, and I want someone to have known to identify that.
And I'd also like you to share your experiences with us in the comment section, and we'll be glad to do an episode to share what you write in the comments and talk about it.
Because people have different stories.
Yeah, people have different experiences. Yeah.
And in our comment section alone, maybe we'll give at the end of the show, at the end of this episode, we'll give you our social media handles where you can talk to us. You know.
Yeah.
Then don't worry about your identity. You know, people.
No, we
Oh,
won't
oh,
disclose.
that time. You know, it's okay. Let's say we are
I
maintaining
think that
professional.
for YouTube, they post the comments there, but okay, it takes a lot to share your story because someone else come to the comment section to see what you wrote.
Yeah, exactly. So that is why I'm kind of discouraging the one that
No, you can just write if you're confident.
if you're confident now.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's kick off this conversation, and I'll be dealing with the physical.
I'll do the verbal part of it.
So physical verbal. So
Mm.
what is the understanding by verbal?
Verbal is an expression by words talking. Yeah, and I think verbal is stronger than physical because verbal, you think about it.
Yep.
And whatever is said to you, words are like a push. It can ever push you. It can either push you off the cliff or make you take steps back. So if we have words that can push you over the cliff, that's really bad. And it has a lot of impact because it can push you to doing so many things. You can think of suicide. You can think of
What?
a lot of things that are not good for your health. Yeah, words are so heavy. I'd rather someone,
Beats you up.
beat me up. I'm talking about my parents, definitely. I'd rather my parents beat me up than tell me hurtful things. Because for hurtful things, you should have thought about it. I want to say this and this to her. And some are just so impulsive. And when you look into impulsive talks, they really hurt a lot.
But then when you look at it, both the physical and the verbal, when you're taken to court, by the way, they'll be treated the same.
Yeah, but for me, verbal with...
Yeah, I understand.
Heavy.
And I think even the Bible spells it out that what comes from the mouth comes directly from the heart. So when someone tells you something, it's from the heart, and it'll make you think about so many things.
Mm-hmm.
So basically physical is what happens outside your mind. I mean,
The hands, something that involves the hands and the legs.
the hands, the legs, the face, the head, all that.
The head, I think it's... Oh, the head, yeah.
Yeah, the head is part of it.
The head,
So-
the head is part of everything.
Someone can do something so bad to you with the head, and you'll be like, "Is this really me?"
Yeah.
So and as we talk about the physical, I think that physical also has a lot of things, and this is when I want to talk to the married people or the ones who are dating. Domestic violence, and it doesn't necessarily mean that
It's the man beating the wife.
Exactly.
It can also
Or-
be the other way around.
or the parents alone, or it also involves the children. Get this. You're a child, right? You see your parents fighting. It should be affecting you.
Yeah.
At some point, maybe the dad or the mom will want to direct all the anger to you. You get that?
Not even that. That environment makes the child timid. You know, the child is afraid of expressing himself or herself to the parent because he or she is afraid that you could react towards him or her the same way you react to your partner.
And also, it kind of builds some character in that child. So when they grow up, they think that this is the way. And that is why when we were starting, we said how the community dictates. The community starts from that house. So if you as a child, you've seen your parents doing this and that, you'll be like, okay.
It makes you think that marriages don't just work and you want to be with your same gender. Then you end up being queer.
Okay, wait. But we're not against this.
No, we are not. It's your own way. We're not judging. But as long as you're okay with it. You know, my mind is not okay with it totally. 100% 101. I'm not okay with queer, but if you're okay with it, then fine, because it's your life. Yeah.
And so, when you look at the domestic violence, now, a story. Let me tell you a story.
Sure. Listening. But it better be short.
I'll try and make it as short as possible. A man comes home drunk, then finds food. He didn't leave any money, or maybe if he left something little. Then he comes and demands for food. That one to me is treated as violence when you start demanding for something that you didn't provide for. Then, because you're now angry, anaanza kupigana. My question is...
Okay, he didn't leave money.
He didn't leave money?
And he's asking for
food. Then...
Okay.
Anaanza vita. To you, is it right?
It's not right, number one.
Why?
Because you didn't leave any money in the first place. Did you make your wife a housewife?
True.
Let's start there. If you did, why are you not providing for her? Why are you making life difficult for her? Because in the first place, if she was willing to work, she would have gone to work and bought the food. Yeah.
That is, okay, at least I've learned something. Yes, it is a mistake. And that one can also be the other way around. And let me ask, before you give us your point in the verbal touch, let me ask this. As a lady, you are dating or you're married, right? Then your husband suddenly loses his job. Then this is when now you start that
I know what you're asking. Yeah.
Do we classify it as examples of the domestic violence, whereby you start treating these people negatively? You don't want to give them food because you're the one who is providing. You don't want to talk to them nicely because they do not have a job. You want to, at times you want to throw things.
Okay, I think this conversation really opened my eyes just right now. I realized that domestic violence is not only restricted to fists and kicks.
So many.
It is also including the sort of, verbal arguing.
Yeah, exactly.
And also passive aggressive behavior in the house. Because what is domestic violence? Domestic violence is violence within the what? The domestic setup.
Yeah.
And what is the domestic setup? It's the house.
Yeah.
So if you're not catering for your partner's needs when he's not having a job, is that being peaceful?
I don't think.
No, it's
like
violence.
Sort of, it's some sort of violence, though. Okay,
I think there are a lot of issues we talked about there in domestic violence, but it's not right. Yeah, let's just say it's not right.
What's your point?
My point would be body shaming. A lot of ladies undergo body shaming simply because they're either fat. Let me say plump, sorry. Fat is really a bad word. If they're either plump or overweight, or when they're thin, that's body shaming. Simply telling someone you're too plump for life. Wow. Put yourself in their shoes.
Okay, why would you say something of that sort to them?
Because you think you're better than them.
And some of these things, actually, body shaming is mostly affects the ladies.
Yeah.
And this is why I really hate someone.
But we also have some men who are undergoing body shaming simply because we have this idea of men shouldn't be plump. What if iko kwa jeans?
Or my guy shouldn't have that kitambi thing, or afai kwa mekonda. This is body shaming.
Yeah.
It's some sort of a GBV. GBV
Yeah.
doesn't mean that ni kupigana mangumi. So many things. So I think
It's the absence of peace.
yeah, this is why I hate watu wa pikipiki.
Okay.
Most of them wanakuwa na tabia mbaya. I mean, how will you okay, if we're unafanya kwa that sector, I want to ask you this. How will you feel if you're that lady, then someone tells you, oh, umelola sana ama umekonda sana?
Let's not even put it at T.
How will you feel?
Let's not put it at T. It's you being the lady. It's them being the lady.
Yeah.
What if it's your daughter?
No, I'm not talking about huyu mtu wa pikipiki. What if it was them? Or maybe ask this. What if it was their wife, their daughter, their sister, or their mom?
I actually realized that if everyone treated every other lady like their own daughter or their own wife or their own mom as they're supposed to be treated, we wouldn't be having some social issues.
Yeah,
The ones
okay, yeah. But then when you look at it, some of these things happen because they need to teach us. But then before you do something, sweet Julius too is this thing that I'm doing right. So body shaming, it's something that really affects mostly the ladies.
And if someone body shames you, what do you advise?
You know, okay, there's so many ways you can get help. If you're a child, talk to your parents. If maybe you're an adult, there's so many helplines where you can talk. There's the feeder where you can go. Talk to your local chief. Anaweza kusaidia. You know,
but you know, the thing is, some people see it right. How can I go to the police station, tell them, yule mtu wa boda is body shaming me?
But hey.
And assume that the person who is writing the OB is a guy.
But hey, you know,
an immoral one.
That is called fear of unknown. How about you just try? Yeah, I know that there's that one person who will be like, so makosa ni gani?
Yeah, exactly.
But go and try.
There's also a problem in our systems, administrative systems. They see it as something not so important.
Yeah.
They don't give it priority because after all, these things are just meant to happen. That is in their own perspective. But I think we should start cultivating this culture of it is a sensitive issue.
And opening up.
Yeah.
Let us treat this issue as something that we really need to talk about it. We need to have these conversations.
Yeah,
and so as the same, we still ask you, make sure you have these conversations with people, with your children. Bring your children up with that mind that I'm not supposed to be shame someone because of how they look, because of their size, their height. I mean, ask them, what if it were you? What if it were me, your mom, or your dad? The same thing happens to me.
Let's embrace them as they are. They're all beautiful.
Just appreciate people.
Yeah, give us your example on physical abuse.
Example number 2 on physical abuse. This one is something that at times I feel so bad when I hear people talking about it or someone was experienced it. It's called sexual abuse. This one is so wide, but I'll try and give it in a simpler way. Sexual abuse. Did you know that your husband can rape you?
Yeah.
Did you know that your wife can also do the same thing, can rape you?
Yeah.
I hope you know that, our viewers. So sexual abuse is not only about being sodomized, being raped, or any other thing that is sexually not right. It also involves that forceful sex between married people. You know, when you force it now, it is not like...
There's no consent. Yeah, we only agreed to sign the marriage certificate, but there is nowhere in the marriage certificate where it is written that you are entitled or I am entitled to intercourse. I don't want to say the other one.
But, you know, okay, looking at it, in a marriage, it is something that is not told. But then you don't have to force it. You know, if today I woke up not feeling like it,
Yeah, the wife would understand this.
Just understand me. So when you hold these forceful things, I mean, you're trying to force people into that, then it means that now it's sexual abuse because they have not given their consent.
I'd like to emphasize on men can also be raped. That's not. Okay, there was this story that there was a female teacher and a male student, and this female teacher lured this guy or this male student into intercourse, and as the story turned out, that it was rape, and the mom couldn't believe and said that no, how can a man rape a woman?
I think I've watched something of that sort.
No, they think. Oh, sorry. They ask themselves, like, how can a woman rape a man? Because it sounds impossible, but these things do happen.
That takes us back to the community says.
Yeah.
This is one thing that
African beliefs.
You know,
they will kill you.
my friends, let us just be honest now for. These things happen. Men can be raped. Boys can be raped.
They can be sodomized.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as a lady, you know, when you force a child or boy to have sex with you, that is rape. As a guy, as a man, if you go and have sex with a boy, that is sodomy, right? Forcefully, yeah.
Yeah.
How? I mean, how would you have sex with it? It's also kind of weird saying it. I feel like, but then, sexual abuse is that, and even kissing is sexual abuse.
That's new.
But touching is also sexual abuse.
Yeah, that's raiding someone's personal space. Yeah,
it happens to both genders. A man can be touched inappropriately, and you feel like, hey, you're now being too much. It affects anyone. It's not only limited to rape.
Yeah.
Sodomy, maybe the forceful sex in marriage, but also the inappropriate touching and these other things like kissing, nene. It's part of.
As long as it's not your consent,
Exactly.
It's forceful.
Yeah.
So my point is verbal abuse, and disrespectful luring. By disrespectful luring, we know all these people who like calling ladies or men on the road as if they are some chicken you're chasing, and they, if you don't know someone, you can simply approach them. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, madam.
Even if they don't look like a sir or a madam.
Yeah, just be respectful. As for verbal, it is telling someone or talking to someone in a disrespectful manner. I don't know where to place it, but I know it's gender-based violence, yeah.
Let me say this directly. As a child, mzazi wako anakuja na kuambia eti wewe ni jinga kama mamako. My friend, how can you even compare ujinga with your wife?
To me, it sounds kind of.
The Matusis beer form that, like, when your parents or when a friend calls you a prostitute and you're not, my friend, this is so bad. Why that? That's, you're violating my peace. Simply because, okay, look at this.
The reason why I'm laughing is not at this thing. It's laughable. It's not funny. But I'm like, okay, if that is also an issue in GBV, then we have a lot of issues. We have a little bit, and the problem starts in talking about it. If you don't talk about it, how do we know? Because if I undergo something and I don't share it, I don't talk about it, I don't tell anyone. How will another person know that it's a problem? Sure, you can ask.
Okay, let me ask you this. Since we started talking here, we started this episode, how many things have you learned? You've learned
a lot.
It's a lot of things.
A lot?
And I'm sure someone else
okay. Kwanza, this one, yeah. If the guy does not have a job, then the lady anamnyima food. Like,
it kind of looks like ni petty, but looking at it, why would you do this? Simply because they do not have a job?
I think we need to have a sensitive society to these issues because they happen everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So when your parent refers to you with some abusive words like a prostitute, Mwizi, with all those things.
Mwizi na lazima kuna kitu
Some
umefanya.
boys, some boys,
Hata-
some parents, they
I'm not
believe
saying
us.
it's right.
Yeah, but look at this. Look at this. Yeah, okay, look at this. Wewe mzazi wako, simply because you're a boy, anakuita mwizi, hata kama sio. And because the girls wanaaminika kuwa wazuri sana in some families, ataanza kusema ti, oh, sio watoto wangu wasichana. You know, you get this. So at some point, there's that imbalance. And there's that violence based on the gender, one gender. Or maybe it is the other way around, where the girls are still that.
Can I ask you, did you go through this?
No. No, okay.
He's explaining it into detail. And like,
I'm just this type of person.
you're just sensitive to what.
No, I do my research. I do my research. I talk to people. I know these are things that I've seen. Even the little movies we watch, Nigerian movies, American movies.
Do you know that it is GBV for a man to just think in his head that I can't tell my wife this? No, she doesn't need to know. She's not in the capacity. Do you know that it's like you're demeaning that position of your wife or judgment? You're demeaning her judgment, number one. You're demeaning her state of mind.
Yep.
Number three, you just, I don't know. Okay, we're supposed to trust each other, right? And if you think in your head that, no, I'm not supposed to tell her this because she doesn't deserve to know. That is GBV. Because you're thinking that females are not entitled to some things. Like this thinking of men.
Embodying.
No, men do not have to open up to their wives about their financial issues.
That's really broad.
Exactly.
Talk.
Thank you. I stated mine.
So the verbal things, it can mean calling each other names. The calling of people funnily. What is that? Where come on a tafta ngombe? You want it after ngombe. But by the way, I really feel so bad when I hear that ladies are being called in that.
You know, I wouldn't even turn because I'd feel like, excuse me, you could have just simply said, excuse me, can I talk to you? That's better than the whatever.
Another thing that brings also that verbal, the matusi thing, the booty shaming.
I want to listen.
Well, if you're a lady or a guy, if someone says hi, just reply. You know,
Sure.
yeah, just reply.
At times I feel like
Not all though.
not all have good intentions, but I'm training myself to just say hi and
Just say hi
hi.
and go.
Yeah, you don't stay to listen whatever they're saying.
That is now where the body shaming comes in.
You give them that opening to start abusing you.
And even if you're saying hi to them, your face also says a big, I'm not interested. Just let your
Some
face.
people just don't have an expressive face.
Right.
You know, I feel like my face always, it just sells me out. You know, at times someone could just come say hi and I'm like, I'm so displeased.
And okay, you're
wasting my time and my face will just show you. In as much as I can smile, my eyes are like, excuse me.
But hey, let us.
Yeah, because this is a sensitive
issue. And if you're a guy, and again, niko na shida na wale watu wa piki. These people, no, looking at it, ni wao ndo wanasumbua wasichana barabara.
We have those ones and
na kuna wale sasa
the construction,
the people in the sites. Then
we are not saying that these people do not deserve. At least they don't deserve to socialize with people.
Yeah.
But there's a way to do it. And when you do it in a wrong way and you do it repeatedly, such that we can notify. Watu wa pikipiki are always rude. Conductors are rude. Yani
why do it?
We don't generalize it, but some of them, yeah.
And also, what else did it? There are these boys. Watu wa PS, wale wakapele kubezi za PS. Overpowered. My third point is the gender inequality in the house or in school, anywhere at work.
But they forgot about that.
This is something that, hey, we need to really have serious conversation here, where the gender inequality comes in. In a house, the boys are treated differently from the girls. At work, ladies are treated differently from men. Where else? Maybe in public transport, any other industry, maybe the workplaces, or as just say, in the streets. There's a way that
Even in companies.
yeah, exactly everywhere. So you find in a house, the boys are told that you can beat up your sisters. You are the man of the house. Then that boy dance.
No, not that they're being told that you can beat up your sister, but when they do it, they're not corrected. Or when they say something, they're not corrected simply because they're trying to build that masculine ego.
Yeah.
I think that's toxic.
See, it's like, okay, you don't really have to tell them directly. It's also telling them.
Yeah.
In companies, you have some separation whereby
There are certain people who get promotions or a certain gender that handle projects
exactly
over the other one.
and when you ask where Uliza,
You can even lose your job.
I mean, job yako imeshiva. So gender-based violence, the GBV,
It's so deep.
it's something that
It's cutting so deep into African roots.
it's something that is so wide. Someone might think ni kupigana tu ama kutukanana. Do you know that how you were even treated in your workplaces that can be violence? Because they're violating your pace. I mean, and because of your certain gender, you're being treated inappropriately.
And a different
Because when you're a lady or because you're a male, you don't get to receive some priorities.
But I'm getting this notion that in the past, females were viewed to be people who don't have their own voice. Exactly. But right now, we're trying to, cushion that belief and just erase it for good because we have powerful women coming up.
Yeah, we really try, but then when you look keen into it,
Even in the parliament, the one
talk about something.
it's 1/3 or 2/3.
Because nothing is not working. It's not really working. They're lying to us. Okay, anyone can talk about this, but the president said that in his cabinet he'll try and create that balance. This is an assignment to anyone who is watching. Go and look if he did what he said.
I don't think so.
I don't want to say anything.
The only CSs I know who are female are Juma. I know of Juma and the health one because she really talked about uprooting some magugu, I think. So
I don't know.
those are the only female CSs I've seen.
We are trying.
Are they only two?
They're not two. They're not two.
Oh, but I've only seen two.
So I think we really pretend, we really say we are empowering women, but looking at it, on ground it's really different. So
yeah. So give us. You feel like just finish.
I feel like we're really lying to ourselves. We're creating that imbalance and keep on giving them promises. So the gender imbalance can also create that violence because it's like you don't want to treat a particular gender because of who they are.
It feels like wherever we go, it's always versus of men versus women.
Yeah, that competition is there. But hey, we are in the
even in marriages.
Yeah,
like who is supposed to provide?
Now look at this. Who's supposed to cook? It is a problem in some marriage. You're not my maid. You're not my maid.
I think in my house, it's a teamwork thing. It's a 50-50.
Yeah, you do this, I do that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so give us your... I think that was my final point.
Yeah, I finished my points. But give us other comments, give us other points on how you can know that you're undergoing GBV.
So
in the comment section.
We really tried, we really tried in giving the... how do we say the main categories that ours, but there's so many others, and if you feel like you have an experience and you'd like to share with us,
we'll
comment section, just comment, or maybe if you feel like it's too confidential, we have our social media handles where you can communicate to us and just tell us this is the thing.
I don't think someone can read a message someone sends you on TikTok.
No one can read it.
Instagram,
no one can read it.
So you can also access that. You can send them. If you're confident with it, you can just paste it on YouTube.
And don't worry about your identity. We're not that type of person who will reveal your identity. When you say that sitaki kujulikana. We stick to
Yeah, we'll stick to that.
Yeah, so my final remarks on this episode would be like, if you're out there and you feel like something is not going well on your side because of your gender, maybe you're a male or a female, talk about it. If you feel like there's violence in your house, that verbal, the physical one, there's the body shaming, talk to someone. There's so many people who you can talk to. You can talk to organizations. There are the numbers that you can call. I think I'll post the numbers. We really need to talk about this. We need to have these conversations. So I feel like talk about it. It's not something that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Help each other.
So next time we'll handle how to deal with GBV, because we decided that this topic will be a series. And we'll really appreciate your support on it. You can like, comment, and subscribe. You can also interact with us on our social media handles. In TikTok, it is Ostina_254.
That is
Instagram, it is IAM_Ostina. If you feel like writing an email, it is cbsnowflake254@gmail.com.
talk to us, share
Yeah.
with us. So have a blessed time, and I hope you learned something from this episode.
Yeah, have a good one.